Hello, my name is Rosa, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Tuesday Well Meditation. Tonight, you join me from my home in the south of England, UK. This sacred time and space is devoted to our shared practice of entering stillness together and of giving together. Let us first surround and protect ourselves with the love and the grace of God. Before we begin the meditation, I'd like to share a passage from the New Message from the book, The Pure Religion, chapter 3, called The Sacred, as revealed to Marshall B. and Summers on April the 29th, 2008, in Esfahan, Iran. It is time now to speak of the sacred, what is truly sacred, what must be revered, what must be recognized, and to see how it is very different from the things that are considered sacred and held to be sacred by many people. For what is sacred cannot be touched, it cannot be named, it cannot be held within your hands. It is not a place, it is not a building, it is not an object. For what is sacred is what is permanent. For in the beginning there was the sacred. In the end there was the sacred. In the middle, in between, there was the sacred. It is past, it is present, it is future. It is a moment of experience. It is a revelation. It is a memory stretching back through the corridors of your mind, so far back that it reaches beyond this life, beyond this set of circumstances. It is like remembering something that has always been, but has been forgotten. When people have this experience, they know there is something permanent in their lives. It is not a belief that something is permanent. It is not a belief based upon fear and apprehension. It is not an accommodation to offset the anxiety that accompanies the awareness of one's mortality and limited life here in the world. The sacred is like a flame that never burns out. When people have a sacred experience, or when someone in the past, in history, has had a sacred experience, people hold certain places to be sacred, where events occurred, where sacrifices were made. These places are held to be sacred, and beautiful monuments are created, some of them so beautiful that people come from everywhere to visit them, to pay homage, to experience them. But they are not sacred. If you knew what was really sacred, you would understand this. If you have experienced what is sacred, you would understand this. There would be no issue here. You would not argue. In some traditions, the earth itself is considered sacred, the entire earth, not just one particular place. But the earth is not sacred. It is just the earth. This building, however beautiful, however historical, however ornate or phenomenal, is just a building. This statue or this object, it is just a statue or an object. To make it sacred, to insist or believe it is sacred, is to miss the point. For it might be sacred to you or to your culture, but it is not sacred to others. To them, it is interesting or beautiful. It is just a thing, however. It is not sacred to them. but anyone who has the experience of the presence of God or the movement of knowledge within themselves will know it is sacred. So different it is from anything else, from any idea, from any belief, from any place, from any tradition or ritual, that to anyone who experiences it, it will be sacred, or at the very least, remarkable and confounding. To know the sacred is to be relieved of so much confusion and so much hostility and so much attachment to things. For God is not attached to these things. And the greater intelligence that God has placed within you, the deeper mind, the mind of knowledge, it is not attached to these things either. But the mind of the world, the mind that you think with, it makes things sacred. It has its own gods, unaware of the great presence, unaware of the fire of knowledge burning within you. It creates its own sacred events, sacred places, sacred people, sacred objects, and so forth. It is okay to honor a place where something sacred has occurred, or to honor a person who demonstrated what is sacred in their life in the most authentic way. But do not call these places sacred, for that is confusion. Pass through these places, honor or remember the person or the event, but hold what is sacred for what is sacred. For what is sacred is not an object. It is not a book. It is not a place. It is not even an event. These are all things in time through which the sacred moves. If you can know what is sacred, you can experience it anywhere. It will be with you anywhere. It can speak to you anywhere. It can move you, the deeper movement of your life, anywhere. Passions may come and go. Great romances may come and go. Life experiences may come and go. You may experience great beauty or great tragedy, creation and destruction, dramatic events and mundane events. But what is sacred remains there. It is still and it is moving. It is so still that you have to become still to experience it. Yet it is moving because you are sent here to do something, to give something, to recognize something, and to unite with certain people for a greater purpose. This is sacred too, this movement. It is not like God is some distant star. God is moving in your life, moving through the world, moving through people, places, and events, because everyone was sent here to give something, to do something. And the fact that people have not experienced this, or recognized this, or fulfilled this, is the root of everyone's suffering. Yet many people know there is something sacred in life, so they try to give some expression of this. The sacred cow, the sacred temple, the sacred book, the sacred history, the sacred object, the sacred sun, the sacred earth, even the heavens, the universe, the greater community. Yet what is sacred moves through all these things, moves like the wind. You cannot capture it. You cannot hold on to it. You cannot show it to another and say, this is it, believe in this. Sacred objects become lost. Great temples are destroyed or fall away. Even the sacred earth, in the far distant future, will no longer be here, and everything that was considered sacred upon it will no longer be here. but the sacred remains. It is in the mystery. You must have the courage and the confidence to enter the mystery, to be still. Please join me now in a 30-minute stillness practice. Take whatever time you need to read your own step and enter stillness when you are ready. Nasinavari Karam. While we are in this place of stillness, I'd like to share a passage from the New Message, speaking about the messenger, from the Revelation, the burden of the messenger, as revealed to Marshall V. and Summers on April the 5th, 2011, in Boulder, Colorado. The messenger is carrying a great burden. He has spent decades receiving something of immense magnitude, a new threshold of awareness and understanding for the human family. He has brought wisdom and knowledge from the universe here, so that humanity may become prepared for its encounter with life beyond its borders. He has brought a new revelation about God and creation. He has brought a new comprehension of human relationships and the nature and purpose of human spirituality. He is bringing forth a revelation that is unspoiled by the world, that has been unchanged by the world. He is allowing people to hear the voice that has spoken to him, so that the message itself may be very clear. It is a revelation unlike anything that has been given to humanity before. It is not merely an ongoing commentary on human spirituality. It is not merely a refinement of what has been given before. It is not a reaction to religions or religious institutions. It is a new threshold for humanity. For you are emerging into a greater community of life now, and you must learn of this greater community, which will redefine your understanding of divinity, purpose, and meaning in life. Humanity is entering a more difficult world, a new world of environmental instability with the great risk of human conflict and war. You are functioning now on a planetary scale, involving everyone. It is not merely a problem for one nation, or one tribe, or one group. So we speak with the authority of the Creator, and the messenger must speak with the authority of the Creator. He will be misjudged. He will be maligned. He will be denied. For this always happens at the time of revelation. Yet he is a humble man. He is without ambition or deception. In a sense, he is too good for the world, but his goodness is necessary to represent the revelation. It is a great burden for him. To communicate something of this magnitude requires skill, clarity, and determination on his part, and on the part of the many people who will bear witness to him at the beginning of his greater ministry. The revelation does not meet people's expectations. It is not a fulfillment of the past. It is not bound to human understanding, human conventions, or even human theological understanding. All this the messenger must communicate. He will be asked foolish questions. He will be asked malicious questions. Doubt and blame and terrible associations will be cast upon him by the foolish and the ignorant. People will feel threatened by his declarations, not because the declarations are incorrect, but because they are unwilling or unable to re-examine their own ideas. They cannot respond to the new revelation. They cannot accept that God has spoken again. They have too much fear and too much investment in the past to be able to reconsider their beliefs, their ideas, and associations. Yet there are many minds in the world that are open There are many people who are looking for the new revelation. It would be of the greatest advantage if they could know of the messenger in his lifetime. He is an older man now. He does not have many years, and so it is a great blessing to meet him, to know of him, and to hear him speak, even if you cannot be with him in person. For the first time, the revelation is being recorded accurately and completely at the time of the messenger. This is not something that will be formulated after the messenger is gone and cast into a religious understanding by people who really do not have the religious understanding. That is why the revelation has taken so very long. It is being delivered with great care. It is providing its own commentary to limit the great risk of misunderstanding and misapplication. The messenger has been given wisdom and knowledge from the universe that humanity will need to face its difficulties here on earth and to meet the immense challenge of dealing with a non-human universe, a competitive universe, a universe that humanity knows nothing about. The messenger must speak of the reality and the spirituality of this greater community of life, at least in general terms, so that people can understand what they are dealing with, the advantages that humanity has, and its disadvantages as well. The messenger will speak of things for the present and for the future. He will provide answers for questions that have not even arisen. He will speak to the needs of people in the future, as well as people today. For the revelation is not only for this time, but for the times to come. Let us spend a few moments together to be with Marshall and send him our love and strength and gratitude. Now see if there are others in the world or in your life who need to receive this strength as well. If so, spend a moment sending strength or another quality to these individuals. Nasina Barakaram. Thank you all for coming. Be strong.